There was a man who walked the roads of Bengal for over 100 years. He had no home, no temple, no book, no religion. He had one string, and on that string he carried God. His name was Lalon. He composed thousands of songs, left no manuscripts, wrote nothing down. And when he died, in 1890, on his grave, there was no crescent, no cross, no nothing. Exactly as he had asked. Bengal, a land of rivers and monsoons and contradictions. For centuries, Hindu and Muslim communities lived side by side on these rivers, sharing land, sharing seasons, separated by everything their religions told them. In this tension, a question arose that no temple and no mosque could answer. Where is God? Not in theory, but really. In the body, in the breath, in this particular moment of being alive. The Bauls were the ones who tried to answer it. Not with scripture, with a song, not with doctrine, with a walk down a road. The word Baul may come from the Sanskrit for crazy, or from the Arabic for friend of God. No one agrees. And the Bauls would say, that is exactly right. The Baul philosophy is this: God does not live in a building. God lives in the human body, in you, right now, hidden. And the only way to find it is to sing. And here is the problem this created for everyone around them. A man who refuses to be Hindu or Muslim in Bengal in the 19th century under British colonial rule is a man standing in the middle of a fire. And yet, they kept singing, because the song was the only thing that could walk between the two fires without burning. The keeper of this flame was called a Baul, and the greatest keeper of all was a man whose name no one could place, not Hindu, not Muslim, just Lalon. Around 1774, a village near the river Kaliganga in Bengal, a child is born. No one knows his birth family. No one knows if he was Hindu or Muslim. Lalon himself, when asked, always refused to answer. In every song, he called himself only a seeker. As a young man, Lalon joined a pilgrimage to a Hindu temple. On the road, smallpox. His Hindu companions left him on the riverbank, alone, dying, because they feared what touching a sick man would cost them, in this life and the next. A Muslim weaver named Lalon Shah found him, and his wife Matiyan brought this stranger into their home and kept him alive. When Lalon recovered and returned home, his own family rejected him. You lived with Muslims, they said. You cannot come back. In that moment, something broke. Not Lalon. The categories he had been given: Hindu, Muslim, caste, name, all of it broke. He found his guru, Siraj Sain, a Baul saint, and he began to walk and sing and never stopped. The Ektara, one string, not two, one. Because truth is not divided. You do not need two strings to find God. You need one. And attention. For decades, Lalon walked the Bengal countryside, settled eventually at Cheuria on the Kaliganga River. Thousands came to him. He gave them songs. He composed, by most accounts, around 2,000 songs. He wrote none of them down. They existed only in the air, only in the people who carried them. One day, a zamindar named Jyotirindranath Tagore came to the river on his houseboat. His brother was Rabindranath Tagore, who would one day win the Nobel Prize. Jyotirindranath invited the old man aboard, and for an hour, or perhaps longer, Lalon sat in the educated man's world and sang, and Jyotirindranath picked up a pencil. That pencil sketch, made in 1889, 1 year before his death, is the only image of Lalon that exists. A barefoot philosopher who walked for 100 years, known by one drawing. Rabindranath Tagore never met Lalon. He arrived in Kustia after the old man had died. But Lalon's songs were already in the air, and they entered Tagore. And through Tagore, they entered the Nobel Prize. Tagore wrote of him, a poet who has no book, no learning, and yet knows the deepest truths. On October 17th, 1890, Lalon sat with his disciples. He played music until 5 in the morning. Then he put down the Ektara and said, "I am going." And he was gone. They buried him near the Akra. No crescent on the grave, no no symbol of any religion. Just earth. Just a man who had chosen to be only human. Today, thousands of people come to Chauriya twice a year. Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, atheist. They sit together. They sing his songs. Think about what Lalon understood that most of the world's religions argue about to this day. You do not need to go far to find what you are looking for. The temple is here. The mosque is here. Everything you were told was outside is inside. The Baul tradition survived British colonialism, partition, independence, and decades of religious nationalism. Because it was never in a building that could be taken. It was always in a song. The deepest crisis for the Baul tradition today is not suppression. It is something quieter. Authenticity. The songs are popular now, on stages, on streaming platforms. But the deepest teaching, the living transmission from guru to disciple, is thinning. Because a Baul song on a stage is music. A Baul song from a guru to a disciple in a mud hut at midnight on a riverbank is a philosophy being transferred from one body to another. Lalon asked, "All people say, 'What caste is Lalon?' Lalon says, 'I have not yet seen what a caste looks like.'" He also asked, "A Muslim man is known by circumcision. How then do you mark a woman?" He asked this in 1860, in rural Bengal, under British rule. The Baul did not answer these questions. He sang them, because a question sung is harder to silence than a question spoken. Allen Ginsberg heard these songs in Bengal and carried them to America. Tagore heard them and carried them to Stockholm. The songs that were never written down traveled farther than almost any book. And somewhere in Bangladesh and West Bengal right now, an old man is walking a road with one string, and he is singing. And in the song, there is no Hindu and no Muslim and no caste, just a man and a question. The Baul teaches us something that philosophy books have tried and failed to say simply. The thing you are looking for is not somewhere else. It was never somewhere else. Every pilgrimage, every temple, every scripture was pointing you back to the only place the answer has ever been. Lalon was abandoned on a riverbank. His religion rejected him. His family rejected him. He had nothing left, except the question of who he was without any of those labels. And out of that question, 2,000 songs, all of them asking the same thing. Who are you when you strip away everything you are told you were? You don't need to go to Bengal to ask it. You can ask it here, now, on one string. The Baul chose nothing. He was abandoned on a riverbank. He was rejected by his family. He lost every label he had been given, and in losing them all, he became free. Painted wisdom. Forgotten stories. Painted in light. New story every week. If this story stayed with you, subscribe. The next one will too.